Iga Swiatek is going for the four-peat at Roland Garros, something no woman has ever done before in the Open era. But she's heading into Paris a lot less of a favorite this time around, especially after her draw was unveiled, which is quite frankly a nightmare. Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff seek to take advantage of this more wide-open field to claim their maiden non-hardcourt slam, but they gotta watch out for the likes of Qinwen Zheng, Jasmine Paolini, and Mirra Andreeva, who have been knocking on the door of taking their first majors for a minute. I'll break down this draw and give my prediction of who I think will get their hands on the winner's trophy on final Saturday. Hey, I'm Christian Basnight and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you have not yet already, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you are notified whenever I post my men's tournament preview as well. First, looking at the projected quarterfinals, we will have potentially Sabalenka and Zheng in the quarterfinals for like the billionth time. Then there's Jasmine Paolini and Iga Swiatek, potentially with a rematch of last year's final. Then Mirra Andreeva against Jessica Pegula, and then the compatriots Madison Keys and Coco Gauff. First, looking at Aryna Sabalenka's section, of course, the number one's draw does look a little bit tough on paper. We have a couple big hitters that can trouble Sabalenka. First, Danielle Collins, potentially in the third round. She beat Iga in Rome, and she's currently in the Strasbourg semifinals. However, Sabalenka does hold a very good 7-0 head-to-head record over the American, so I will still favor Sabalenka even if those two faced off in round 3. Clara Towson is here too, and she beat Sabalenka in Dubai this season. However, Magda Linette is dangerous, and that's Clara's first-round opponent. I wouldn't be surprised if the Polish woman got her out of there and went on a little bit of a run here. Then American Amanda Anisimova, I think, will be Sabalenka's biggest threat as she holds a 5-2 head-to-head over Biglenka. Amanda is also a former semifinalist from 2019 here at Roland Garros, but she's pretty low on confidence coming into the clay slam as she has had no clay win since reaching the Charleston semifinals. We also have a few dangerous floaters here. Already mentioned Magda Linette, but also Olga Dandilovic. She made the finals of Rouen, the 250, and then I can definitely see her beating Fernandez, who really, I don't know how she's still seeded, but here she is. Then Petra Kvitova. I don't know if I could consider her a dangerous floater, but you never know. She's still, I guess, on the comeback trail for maternity leave. You never know what she could do. I think that Sabalenka's draw will open up, but even if it doesn't, I think that she should still be fine to make the quarterfinals. She just knows how to level up at the slams and find ways to even beat her toughest competition. So I will be having Sabalenka move through here. Next is Qinwen Zheng's section, and this draw is decent for Qinwen, but there are definitely a few dangerous players in this section. First, Diana Stater, she made the Rome quarterfinals. Really should have at least made the semifinals if it weren't for her choking to Jasmine Paolini. Then Ludmila Samsonova, she's a great player. She's currently in the semifinals of Strasbourg as I speak. Then Peyton Stearns, she made the Rome semifinals, and that's a possible third-round opponent for her. Stearns played incredible in Rome, but the question is, can Stearns replicate this form at the big major stage right now? I don't know. Even if she does, I don't know if it's enough to take out Zheng. The Chinese woman, she will open up against former finalist Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. This would be her first match at the Roland Garros venue since she claimed the Olympics gold medal title, so good vibes and good juju there for her. You never know, though, with Pavlyuchenkova. She made the Australian Open quarterfinals this year, and she is a former Roland Garros finalist from 2021, but overall, I still think that Zheng should be okay. Alex Ayala is there too. She's making her Roland Garros debut, and I will be interested to see how she recovers from that love and one loss to Kostic in Rome. Her stock isn't that high right now, but she could pull it together now in Roland Garros and maybe pull at Zheng and kind of test her a little bit if those two were to face. I think that Dana Standard will be the biggest threat for Qinwen, but I still think with how well Zheng played in Rome, before the semifinals at least, plus her winning the Olympics and having good vibes at Roland Garros, I'd favor her to make it out. Next, last year's finalist and reigning Rome champion Jasmine Paolini section is next to look at, and I'm eyeing that potential fourth round between her and Elena Svitolina. Linda Noskova in the third round could cause problems for Jasmine, and perhaps Anastasia Potapova as well. Now in the bottom half, I would be very surprised if Vekic and Svitolina did not face off. Garcia, she's kind of a Kaya right now. She hasn't yet played on clay due to a back injury, and she actually just announced her imminent retirement from tennis after Roland Garros this morning. So Svitolina has been very dangerous on clay this season. She won Rouen, made the Madrid semifinals and the Rome quarterfinals. Probably should have made the Rome semifinals, but credit to Stearns too. Svitolina and Paolini played this year at the Australian Open, which Svitolina took in 3 sets. Now this one will be a coin toss for me. I was leaning towards either woman in making my predictions, but I'm going to go with Svitolina for this one, and I'll explain a little bit more why I chose her later on in this video. Next is by far the most interesting section, and it belongs to 3-time defending champion Iga Swiatek. And Iga, she definitely felt the consequence of dropping down from number 2 in the rankings to number 5 after Rome. Iga could meet Emma Raducanu in the second round, who has been playing well this year, but still on clay, I don't think the Brit could match Swiatek despite how off she's been lately. And Emma also had a little bit of an injury issue in Strasbourg in her second round loss to Danielle Collins. The first big threat for Iga, I think, will come in the third round against Marta Kostyuk. Now, Iga has steamrolled Marta in all of their 3 previous meetings in straight sets, but Marta has been playing the best tennis of her life at the moment and had 2 really thrilling losses to Sabalenka in Madrid and Rome. And obviously, Sabalenka is in better form than Swiatek is right now, so why not Marta get that maiden win over Iga here? Then up top, maybe 3 really big threats loom in Elena Rybakina, Jelena Ostapenko, and Belinda Bencic. Now, Rybakina will be playing Bencic in the first round, which is a very tough and edgy popcorn match. Belinda beat her in Abu Dhabi in the semifinals earlier this year, so Rybakina will be seeking revenge. Rybakina is definitely the stronger clay player compared to Bencic, and she's currently in the Strasbourg semifinal. She's trying to break that semifinals losing streak, so maybe if she does that, it'll give her more confidence to go on a deep run at Roland Garros. Now, the biggest threat for Iga, of course, is Jelena Ostapenko, who holds a decisive 6-0 head-to-head over the pole. She also beat Iga en route to winning the Stuttgart title last month. However, Jelena has not made it to the second week of Roland Garros since she won the title back in 2017, and I don't know if that'll change this year. Still, I think that Jelena should at least make it to the third round, where then anything could happen. I think it will be tough to call who makes it out of there between Rybakina, Ostapenko, and even Bencic. I think that if Ostapenko makes it through, she's still beating Iga. Rybakina, she's a little bit mentally shaky, but maybe, again, if she gets over that semifinals block in Strasbourg and stays healthy, she could knock out Iga. I might favor Rybakina maybe to come through and make the fourth round to face Swiatek. Now, I've said it before, it doesn't really matter too much to me that Iga won Roland Garros as many times as she has, because she said it herself that she doesn't really expect things to click for her at Roland Garros based purely off of vibes. It'll take a lot of hard work. And maybe all she needs is one match to turn things around and getting over this slump that she's been experiencing in the past few months or so. I think it's definitely doable, and her making it out of this section is definitely tough as nails. But perhaps having such a tough section and draw will take the pressure off of her, as I know a few people will have her not making it out. I think that she will play a little bit better overall. I think that she'll still enjoy Kostyuk's game more than Sabalenka would. I do not think that Ostapenko will make the fourth round, and I'd favor Iga over Rybakina at this point, so I have Swiatek moving through to the quarterfinals. Now, transitioning to the bottom half, first looking at Mirra Andreeva's section. Andreeva, she's of course coming back at Roland Garros after making the semifinals, having her breakthrough there, where she beat Sabalenka en route. Now, Mirra's draw looks solid. Yulia Putintseva looms in the third round, but Putintseva has not won a red clay main draw match this season. Ashlyn Kruger, she's a solid player, but I don't think she has it in her to beat Mirra right now. The bottom part of this section is pretty weak, to be honest. I am really only interested in Naomi Osaka against Paula Badosa. Those two were supposed to play in Rome, but Badosa withdrew ahead of their second round match due to that ongoing back issue. Naomi looked real good in Rome. Of course, she's coming off that title in St. Malo too, but in Rome, she made the fourth round where she very narrowly lost to Peyton Stearns. Badosa has only played one red clay match this season, and that was in Strasbourg just recently, where she made the quarterfinals, losing to Samsonova. So it is a good sign for her that she's at least back playing tennis recently. I think whoever wins this match will make the fourth round to face Mirra, as Kasatkina has been flopping badly lately this season, and her only win on the red clay this year was against Alicia Parks. I think this one is going to be a toss-up, but I'm going to side with Badosa. I think when she's healthy, she's very, very good, especially on clay. And I think that she will be healthy at least enough to finish this match. But Naomi, I think she will come out guns a-blazing, and I think it's going to be just overall a really good match. I can see that one going either way. Regardless, though, of whoever makes it through that match, I have Mirra advancing through to the quarterfinals. Now, American Jessica Pegula section by far is the most wide open section in this entire draw. Jessie has not been in good form on the red clay this season thus far. She's been dealing with little injury niggles, and she's also mourning the loss of her two dogs. The other top seed in this section, Caroline Muchova, is a finalist from 2023, but she has not played since Miami due to a wrist injury. Muchova will open against my girl Alicia Parks, which will be interesting to say the least. We do have a few dark horses in this section who I think could shake things up too. Maria Sakkari, she looked better in Madrid, making the fourth round. She is still searching for her first slam fourth round since the Australian Open in 2022. Then you got Ons Jabeur, then Marketa Vondrousova, a finalist from 2019, working her way back from injury. Again, there's a lot of opportunity here. JPEG, on paper, should make it out, but I don't know. If Carolina is healthy, she could pop up and gag the field, but I actually might side with Elisa Mertens, who actually beat Pegula in Rome, last week. So I think that Mertens has been flying under the radar. She's been playing solid this season, especially on clay. She lost in Stuttgart and Madrid to Sabalenka, so perhaps she could have gone even further in those tournaments if she was on the other side of the draw of Big Lenka. So I think that Roland Garros, I think she'll pop out and show these people that she's still capable of big wins. Now, another American, Madison Keys, this section is next to look at. And to be honest, I think that Maddie has been slept on big time recently. She has not made as much noise on this tour since Indian Wells, but she's pretty darn good on clay. She lost to Iga and Peyton in Madrid and Rome in tight matches, and I think her draw overall is pretty favorable. Now, she will face a qualifier in the opening round, and we know that Victoria Mboko is in the final round of qualies. I think she's going to be the single most dangerous qualifier coming out of the field, assuming she makes it. So keep an eye on that potential Keys and Mboko first round. The odds of that are pretty unlikely, but you never know. Now, looking at Keys' draw more in full, yes, Katie Bolter is solid, and she just won a 125, but she's still, the Brit is not that great on clay. Sophia Kenin, Keys' potential third-round opponent, has been better too herself, but still beatable. Victoria Azarenka also, she's very, very beatable. Down below, Beatrice Haddad-Maia and Emma Navarro on course for a rematch of their Strasbourg quarterfinals, which Bia scrapped out from a set and break deficit. Haddad-Maia is kind of peaking right now after a sorry start to her year, and she always knows how to perform well, or typically performs well at Roland Garros, making the semifinals from 2023. However, she has a tough opening round opponent in Haley Baptiste, who I think will be very, very dangerous. You never know what could happen in that match. Emma Navarro, I think she has a good draw, but I don't know if she has that moxie for real to make it out. Emma, though, is the player that elevates her level in the slams and knows how to grind out these wins, as she has made the quarterfinal or better at the past 3 majors. She also beat Maddie here at Roland Garros last year, so it will be interesting to see if she does it again if they meet this season. Still, I think that Keys would be too tough, and overall I think she's the better player, and I think she too elevates for the slams, so I will have Maddie move through to the quarterfinals. Then last but not least is Coco Gauff section, and she has the best draw out of the top 5 seeds by far, and she really always gets good Roland Garros draws. I don't know what it is about the draw gods, but they shine brightly on Coco and Paris each and every year. I think that Gauff should get through to the third round with no problem. There she could meet Anna Kalinskaya, who could be tricky, as Kalinskaya does hold a perfect 4-0 head-to-head over top 3 opponents. But Anna just pulled out of the Strasbourg quarterfinals citing a right calf injury, and she's very injury prone. Plus, she has a tough opener herself in Maria Boskova. And I can see Boskova being the one who plays Coco in the third round. And actually, Boskova beat Coco the last time they played, which was on clay in Rome in 2023. So perhaps that could be a challenge, Gauff's first challenge at this tournament. Still, I think with Coco being in this form and having the confidence of making the finals back-to-back in the Dirty Double, Madrid and Rome, should be good to make it through to the second week. Up top, 2021 champion Barbora Krejcikova plays her second tournament of the season after coming back from a back injury. I don't really see her being a serious threat for this title at all, to be honest. Ekaterina Alexandrova should make it out of there to face Coco in that round of 16 match, but she low-key has a little bit of a mental block when it comes to the majors. Veronika Kudermetova, I think, will make it there instead, actually. She's been playing better tennis lately. Yes, Alexandrova, Kudermetova, Kalinskaya, and even Boskova could perhaps take out Coco if she's not on her game. Also, Gauff tends to do better after getting tested early on, and I don't know if her opening 2 matches will provide her enough of a test that she needs. Gauff could be very vulnerable around the 3rd or 4th rounds, but she should still get through to the Elite 8 for the 5th straight year. Going over my predictions, in the semifinals, I have Sabalenka and Svitolina meeting again as they met in the Madrid semifinals, then Andreeva and Gauff meeting for the 3rd straight time. Then in the finals, I have number 1 against number 2, Sabalenka and Gauff for a rematch of the Madrid finals, with once again Sabalenka taking it all. Explaining my picks a little bit more thoroughly, Zheng, again, she does have a few interesting potential threats in her section, so I would not be totally shocked if she did not make it out. Now, if she does make it out, which I of course have her doing, I think that Sabalenka would be very, very hungry for revenge after losing to her in Rome. Although Qinwen would assumingly have a lot more confidence in this matchup now, so it will be very interesting. I was very, very close to having Jasmine make it and potentially go all the way to the semifinals, as she has been playing very well. But I don't know how she'll handle defending those finals points from last year. Even though she does have Rome, the title points from there to pad her ranking a little bit, Wimbledon finals are approaching and those points are coming off soon, so maybe that's in the back of Jasmine's mind. And Jasmine could also have some really odd losses too, like getting beaten 2-1 by Sakari in Madrid. And to be honest, one of my main reasons of not having Paolini come through is because I just feel like initially I had her coming through and it was just way too many top seeds coming through. I feel like a few top seeds will falter more than I'm thinking, and if I gotta bet money on one of them, I think it's gonna be Paolini, especially with how good Svitolina has been playing lately. Now, you also cannot sleep on Donna Vekic. She's there in that section and perhaps could take out Svitolina. Now, I did have Svitolina making a good run in this tournament, but still, I think a slam final and beating Sabalenka en route to that slam final will be a little bit too much of an ask for her. Talking about Iga, I feel like it's weird because having her making out of this section is such a gamble to me. It's weird that I feel this way, but it just is. And I feel like still a few players can make it out of here instead of her and go on a good run. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if she did not make it through to the quarterfinals. But I decided to play it safe. I still don't know if she's in form enough to go all the way. I think that's still too much of an ask, but you never know what could happen. Again, just that one match could turn it around for her here. Again, though, you cannot sleep on Kostyuk, Ostapenko, and Rybakina in that section to go out of here and go on a deep run. Maybe Naomi Osaka can make it out of that section instead of Andreeva. I am still worried about her mental and physical health, though, in the later stages of these tournaments. Then Badosa is just really all physical with her. One thing I failed to mention is that Mirra, watch out for her, because I think a lot of her title hopes hinge on possibly Coco falling before the semifinals. If Coco falls before the semifinals and Mirra makes it that far, Mirra could take the entire thing. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't think anyone from Pegula's section will win this tournament, being pretty blunt. Keys, I could see her beat Coco for sure, and maybe she could make another slam final. But again, I just decided to play it safe there and stick with Gauff. Now, why Sabalenka and Gauff? I mean, first of all, they're number 1 and number 2, and they've been perhaps in the best form in the clay season leading up to Roland Garros. First, with Sabalenka, I think she just has an aura of superiority when it comes to the majors now. It's been years, like 3 years, since she has failed to make it past a 4th round at a major. I also think that Aryna has played very good at Roland Garros recently, and she came close to making the finals in 2023 and in 2024, to be totally honest, if it weren't for her choking against Muhova and eating that bad steak before that quarterfinal against Mirra. Now, I had Gauff making it through because, first of all, she has a very, very good draw. Keys might be the biggest obstacle in her not making the final. Maddie, though, might not even make it to the quarterfinal. Navarro might instead. Now, even though Navarro has beaten Gauff too in the past few majors, Wimbledon and US Open, I think that I'd favor Coco on the clay here. And Gauff is 4-0 against her likely semifinal opponent, Mirra Andreeva, and again, it might be a mental thing with Mirra when she faces Coco now too. Andreeva could wake it up though, but still I'd favor Coco here at Roland Garros. And overall, I think that Coco is just a sound Roland Garros player. Yes, she has been aided by some very good draws in Paris recently, but the past 4 years, she's lost to the eventual champion, making the quarterfinals or better in all the past 4 years. And now that her biggest threat, Iga Swiatek, who she has lost to in the past 3 years, is in the entire other section, plus Swiatek isn't playing her best and Coco has won their last 3 meetings, it could very well be her opportunity in her time. Now, I ultimately went with Sabalenka to win this title because I think that she overall has been in better form compared to Gauff, and I was close to having Coco take it all, but I remember that Coco is still a little bit up and down, and she underperformed in her last few finals. The serve and forehand have been issues for Coco in the pressure moments. Maybe the Rome final, though, was about fatigue from the Zheng semifinal, that thrilling semifinal. I think, though, that it's Sabalenka's time to prove that she can win on the natural surfaces and show just how good she is at Roland Garros. That's all I have for these Roland Garros predictions on the women's side, and let me know your thoughts on my picks and me having Sabalenka and Gauff make the finals with Aryna taking it all. Definitely drop your predictions in the comments below. I'll look and try to reply to as many of them as I can. And again, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you are aware of whenever I post my men's Roland Garros preview as well. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see you all next time here on Christian's Court.